I know how fast it can be taken away.
And a steal on a pass from Gallinari by Boogie Cousins, but he falls down trying to get the dribble, and he's still down.
It can be gone with a snap of the pen. This is what I've worked for my entire career. With God's grace, I'm able to be out here and play the game that I love.
Look out, right hand slam for Cousins. What a play by Boogie Cousins.
For the third time in 18 months, DeMarcus Cousins has suffered a significant leg injury. Test results yesterday confirming Cousins tore his ACL during a workout in Las Vegas on Monday. His agent told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski a timeline for surgery is still in the works, but in the meantime, it looks like his season with the Lakers is in jeopardy. Dominique, what does Boogie's injury mean for the Lakers' title chances next season?
Yeah, that was devastating and upsetting, but all right, stay with me. I'm going to say that it might make it a little higher chances that they'll have a successful team deep in the playoffs. I know that's crazy. I know that Boogie Cousins
better chances.
I think that they might have better chances. I know Boogie Cousins is an all-NBA type talent, and having him on your team is good for depth. But I'm going to say this. I think that this team is better with LeBron at the 4. They have a glut of forwards. I think if you can move LeBron to the 4, which means you move Anthony Davis to the 5, I think this team is better off. And Boogie Cousins is not the type of person who's going to sit on the bench. If Boogie Cousins is healthy, he plays the 5, Anthony Davis moves to the 4, LeBron moves to the 3, then I don't know what you do with Kuzma and Danny Green. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that they might be better off without Boogie Cousins on this roster.
No, man, you're not. Wow. You're not better off with less talent. You just never are. Now, look, what did the Lakers just lose? I think they lost, for one thing, and maybe it's even the lesser thing, Dominique, what you just said, the word you just laid out there, which was depth. I don't think odds are Boogie was going to end up really, honestly, one of the top 2 or 3 players on this roster. When it came to playoff time, this thing was going to be about AD, LeBron, and Danny Green as a third most important player. But that doesn't make Boogie unimportant. You need that 4th option. You need that guy who can play the 5 because Anthony Davis doesn't want to play the 5. Anthony Davis said when he was introduced as a Laker that he wants to be a 4. He prefers playing a 4. So
that's why this injury might help. I know he doesn't want to play the 5, but with an injury, then you have to push him down to 5. Do you think they won't be better off, that Anthony Davis won't have better mismatches at the 5 against other centers? Same for LeBron to be said at the 4 against other power forwards. I feel like they're better off that way.
What I'm telling you is at a minimum, what the Lakers have lost is the depth of having the 4th scoring option on their squad. Maybe it bumps Kuzma up. I don't know if LeBron goes to the 4. Maybe Kuzma moves into the starting lineup, but that reduces your second squad. I think that more importantly, perhaps, the other thing they lost is the wild card that Boogie Cousins represented, Dominique. I mean, this was a guy who last year came into game 2. What did he get? He got 11, 10, and 6, right? It was important points. It was important energy for the Golden State Warriors in game 2 of the NBA Finals, helped them in that game. And then the last time we saw Boogie with AD, it was good. I mean, this is a guy who was shooting 35% from 3. So this is a guy that you could feed the ball into at the post, who could distribute for other guys, open up shooting for other guys, but he could also stretch the floor. By the way, so that's the ceiling, right? At a minimum, they lose the depth of having a 4th scoring option, a guy who can play the 5 and allows AD to play the position that he wants. At a maximum, you lost the wild card of what Boogie could be or return to next to AD.
Right. I love Boogie Cousins as a player, but let's not pretend like everything that comes with Boogie Cousins is positive. Like I'm not even going to concern myself with like locker room or off the court issues because I don't think that's a huge deal. But I do think it's a huge deal that he's not great on defense. That hurts this team. And I think JaVale McGee is no Boogie Cousins, but JaVale McGee is a better rim protector than Boogie Cousins. I don't think McGee should start. Again, I think that we should move everybody down a spot, and McGee will get more minutes on the defensive end of the court, or at least get more minutes and be more impactful on the defensive end of the court than I think Boogie Cousins would ever be. I don't think necessarily that – I think I agree. The depth is nice. It's nice for them to have an offensive production out of somebody who would take some of the burden off of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They're going to miss that. I'm not going to pretend like that's not going to be big, but I do think that it doesn't cripple their team. They have some decent players, or at least some decent shooters on that roster that will be able to fill in on some of that scoring.
I think it significantly jeopardizes their chance for an NBA title. I think it diminishes who the Los Angeles Lakers, not who they are, but who we thought they could be, because they're still an experiment on paper. We still don't know how this collection of talent is going to come together. But let me say this for a moment.
How much does it diminish their chances, would you say?
Well, I mean, they were already, in my mind, behind the Clippers. I think you have to factor in the Denver Nuggets. I don't think they're getting enough attention, enough respect for the team that they are. I mean, I'd say, Charlie, that this drops the Lakers into like that that 4 or 5 range, not the number 2 range that so many people thought they were in. But let me say something about Boogie for a moment. You bring up his effect off the court, Dominique. I think it's fair. And I think I've been critical of Boogie at his various stops across the NBA. But let me just say this for a minute. Man, dude can't catch a break. Not lately. Yeah. And I don't know what it is, man. You got to feel for a guy now that it's been an Achilles, a quad, and now a knee. And, you know, for those of us out here in the regular working world, the kind of money the NBA players make, there's really no room for sympathy or empathy when it's a little less, a couple million less. But the dude missed out on his major payday, you know? He missed out on every major payday that he was about to get because of these injuries. And now he has a chance. And it seems to me, Dominique, like there's been some humility. Like he's dealt with some of this. I mean, he just signed for not very much with the Lakers at all. After signing for, what is it, $3.5 million with the Warriors. So the dude has been dealt some humility. And now he has to deal with this as well. I feel for Boogie as a person. I think that needs to be said. Yeah.
I mean, there's not a couple million lost for him. It's devastating, the amount of money he's lost. But not only that, I think the players, while money is important to players, they care about it, it's also a life's work. You put your life's work into getting to this spot where you're at this age, where you're at peak of your game. You're on the best roster potentially that you've been on, which would have been last year and potentially also this year. And you have a chance to to kind of cement your legacy, to win a title, to get a ring, to have that taken away from you, to have that taken away from you year after year, to have an opportunity to be a part of something like that. Like, that's devastating. Money aside, I think everyone, even though not very many people can relate to, none of us on this show can relate to that amount of money. All of us can relate to the idea of having a dream and working very hard to getting to the cusp of it and then having it taken away 3 separate times over the course of just about 12 months. 3 really major injuries that people have a hard time coming back from over a course of a couple months. So while I do think the Lakers might be better off if they change around their roster, I think what's happened to Boogie Cousins is a travesty.
Now back to the Lakers for a moment. I think it's absolutely crazy to say they're going to be better off. I mean, I think it's hey, let me ask you this. Let me put it to you this way. Let's draw this picture. NBA champion Los Angeles Lakers. Let's go ahead and play out this coming season and in our minds envision Los Angeles Lakers 2019-2020 NBA champions. I believe in that, what we're imagining, what we're envisioning, I believe Boogie Cousins would have played an integral role. I'm not telling you that he would have been, again, the first, second, or third best player on that squad. But I believe in the scenario in which they win it all, he would have played an integral role. And now you take that integral role out. Maybe, Dominique, maybe they find it somewhere else. Maybe Kuzma steps up. Maybe you're right. AD fits perfectly at the 5. Maybe they go small the entire time of the playoffs. Maybe it just works out for the Lakers and LeBron and AD are the best tandem we have absolutely ever seen. But I, in no scenario, really believe they are better today than they were yesterday.
Yeah, they're certainly not more talented today than they were yesterday, and I think it's easy and obvious to point to the fact that losing this talent hurts them. And I know that I'm on the unpopular side and a side that's more difficult to argue, but I do think it's possible that sometimes things fit together when you take out a better player. Things work out better. I do believe that the mismatches matter. You look at the rest of the shooters that they have on their team; they have at least 3 guys who shot over 40% from 3 last year, and Caruso's a guy who people aren't really talking about. I think he's a young guy who could step up. Quinn Cook played positive minutes in the playoffs last year. All these people are going to have to step up and become a lot better. So I'm not saying obviously they are championship contenders, that losing Boogie Cousins makes them more talented, but I do think it's possible that you could put together a roster and a style of play that could benefit them without Boogie Cousins.
Well, Cousins, one of 16 players in NBA history who have played at least 500 games with career averages of 20 points and 10 rebounds per game. The other 15 are all in the NBA.
You're just going to dunk on me like that, Charlie?
I have to. That's what you get for not showing up in studio today, all right? Expect a little more of that, too. And as a reminder.
It's facts. What are you going to do?
It's facts. That's all it is. We are still waiting on a timetable for Cousins' return to the court, though, so we will keep you tuned on that. But we do have more to discuss on First Take. Zeke is losing weight, but are the Cowboys losing their running back? That debate up next.